This webinar is brought to you by the PACE SBDC, a regional center of the New York Small Business Development Center. The NYSBDC is a U.S. Small Business Administration resource partner with regional centers at higher education institutions and outreach offices at other locations across New York State. Our free advising, education, research, and advocacy services are made possible by funding from the SBA, New York State, and our host campuses. We have with us a lineup of fantastic presenters today. We have Jacqueline Franco, who is with the Small Business Administration. We have Luan Zimenez with Empire State Development, and David Correas for Small Business Services. Additionally, we have Andrew Flam, Director of the PACE SBDC, and his colleagues at PACE, Pedro Soto and Roxana Astorga. So you know, we are recording today. We will be able to record everything that takes place in this main session. In a little bit, we're going to open up some breakout rooms so that you will be able to go in and ask questions. And so that will be coming up. Those breakout sessions will not be recorded, but the main room session, we will have a recording of that and be able to share a link to that and a PDF copy of the slides in a follow-up email. So you know, please keep yourself on mute. And if you need something, let us know in the chat. If you have questions, make sure to save those, write them down for those breakout rooms that will be coming up in just a little bit. And with that, I will turn the time over to Pedro.
Hey, everybody. As she mentioned, my name is Pedro, a business advisor here at the PACE Small Business Development Center, part of a network. And what we do is pretty much provide information, guidance to small businesses and entrepreneurs to help you through your development process. So today we're going to begin with Luan and helping people understand the clarity between MWBE certification, the opportunity presents you, as well as, again, the point of today is to give you access with those who work for these agencies to be able to gain that insight on the different processes. So without further ado, let's move on to Luan. I will begin the presentation right now.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again. As was mentioned, I'm Luan Zimenez. I'm with Empire State Development, and I work within the Division of Minority and Women Business Development Unit. And I'm here to talk to you this morning about the New York State MWBE certification process. Diversification is the key to business success in New York State, and the Division of Minority and Women Business Development is here to support MWBE applicants on their journey to certification. So I want to talk to you now about Article 15A of the Executive Law. It actually established the division. It was signed into law July 19th, 1988. And the division is looking to certify businesses in which ownership through a minority group member, woman, or minority woman who's in charge of the operations and the control of the business, and that the business is operated
okay, let's go.
Independently.
Hey, everyone, please make sure that you are on mute. I am going through a muting, but we just want to make sure that we don't get ambient noise in our recording. Thank you. Please continue, Luan.
Yes, thank you. So Title V of the New York Code, Rules and Regulations, discusses ownership, operations, control, and independence. Criterion Article 15A, and it goes on to state how the division makes the determination on the criteria relative to certification. So the mission of the division is to promote equality of economic opportunity for MWBEs and to eliminate barriers to their participation in state contracting. The division supports New York State's leaders with information and resources that increase access to opportunities for minorities and women-owned businesses, enterprises throughout the state. The division is also tasked with the MWBE certification program, which includes reviewing and making a determination on applications of businesses seeking certification. So now I want to talk about the benefits of the New York State MWBE certification. So there are an array of benefits when you become certified. First, you're added to the New York State Directory of Certified MWBE Firms directory, which has over 9,000 New York State certified firms in there. You'll also receive access to funds in the form of loans and bond programs that are specifically set up for MWBE certified businesses. Additionally, MWBEs will have access to the business development unit, which I'm a part of, where we help to, firms to implement strategies and learn about opportunities to provide valuable information and resources to MWBEs, with the goal of aiding the businesses in their participation in state contracting opportunities. As well, New York State certified MWBEs can be found here in the directory by New York State agencies and authorities that are looking for certified firms, as well as prime contractors go here to find New York State certified MBE, WBE, and MWBE firms. So the New York State contract system, next slide. So this is actually the platform where firms apply for the certification, okay? The website address is ny.newnycontracts.com. Once again, the website address is ny.newnycontracts.com. So each business will go to this website here. They'll create a user account and they'll create a vendor profile. And this is where you begin your journey in applying for the New York State MWBE certification. Once you have your profile, it acts as your electronic business card. So it's imperative to keep the information current and up to date. And as I said before, it allows users to be able to search for New York State certified MWBE firms, as well as you as the applicant to apply. But this is also where you would go to where that if you were certified, where you would apply for recertification, okay? If you're looking to recertify, and also make any updates, to your profile. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the certification criteria. Okay, so the applicant that is applying for the New York State certification for MWBE, they must meet all criteria to be certified. They must own a business which is owned and operated and controlled by themselves, okay? And if they're a woman-owned business as the applicant applying, and or one of the designated minority group members, which I'll discuss in further detail in the upcoming slides. The business itself must be independent of other business entities, and there are other certification criteria that is determined by the division. So the applicant who's applying for the New York State MWBE certification must own 51% or more of the business. 51% is the minimum, but it can be more, okay? Also, 51% of the capital contribution that was utilized to launch the business must have been supplied by the applicant who's actually applying for the certification for the business. Also, the applicant must be the person that assumes the majority of the risk and also be able to benefit in the majority of the profits. And in addition to the applicant owning 51% or more of the firm, the applicant must be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident alien, okay? They must be a woman owned business, or they must belong to one of the designated minority groups, such as persons from Black persons having origins in African racial groups, Hispanic, Latino persons, either from Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban, Central American, South American, Anistrisi, or Native American or Alaskan persons, or from Asian and Pacific Islanders in the Far East countries, Southeast Asia, Indian subcontinent of the Pacific Islands. Also, the applicant applying for the certification must be able to demonstrate competency in their industry. So let me give you an example. If I'm an attorney and I want to apply for the certification, and I own a law firm, well, obviously I'm an attorney, right? But I'll give you another example that actually demonstrates this a little bit more clear. Let's say, for example, I own a plumbing company and I own 51% or more of the company. I belong to one of the designated minority groups. Well, I myself must actually be a plumber. So I can't just be someone who owns a plumbing company and I never went to school to study plumbing, but I have a whole bunch of plumbers that work for me. No, I must have that skill set, even though I may not necessarily be utilizing that skill set, on various jobs on a day-to-day, because I may be running the operation. But if called upon, I have the ability to go down to the work site and oversee what my employees are doing and actually take an active role if need be. I must be the person that has the ability to make total operational decisions, as well, and manage the day-to-day operations. The business also must have the legal authority to do business in New York State. Also, the business must have been in operation for at least 1 year or longer. Also, the applicant applying for the certification with New York State MWBE program must not have a net worth exceeding $15 million after allowable deductions. And you can see some of the allowable deductions on the screen here, such as the ownership interest in the firm, the equity that they have in their primary residence, up to $750,000 of present cash value of any qualified retirement plan, etc. Also, the business must not employ more than 300 individuals. So that's a requirement for the certification program, as well as what I mentioned before, must have the legal authority to conduct business in New York State, and also must have evidence that they've contributed to the New York State economy, by being able to supply documentation such as payroll taxes, purchase of products, machinery that were assembled, manufactured within the state of New York. So now I want to talk about the certification assessment that we actually have on our website. So if you go to the website address that you see on this slide, esd.ny.gov/MWBE-certification-assessment-tool, we have an assessment tool here. It's about 12 questions. It's a self-assessment of your firm, okay? And by answering these questions, it will give you a preliminary understanding if you meet the basic requirements of the New York State MWBE certification program, The tool is only for informational purposes and educational purposes. It does not guarantee certification, nor does it constitute legal advice. But one of the things we would say to you here at the division is that if you fill out this assessment and it shows that, whatever reason that you don't meet the basic requirements, what we would do is we would recommend you to your local small business development center. In this case here, we're with PACE University here today, one of our partners, where they could kind of, review your business profile and let you know about next steps. Okay, so now I want to talk about the different New York State MWBE applications. Okay. So first you have the new MWBE application. So these are for firms that are applying for the very, very first time. So make sure that you're filling out the correct application that applies to your business situation. So if you're a new firm, you've never been certified anymore, you're looking for that new MBE, WBE, or MWBE certification application, and that's the one that you will fill out. If you're currently certified and you want to continue being certified, you will fill out the recertification application, and it's available to current certified firms that have fewer than 90 days left on their certification. Okay. Or if you're a firm that you want to be considered for certification with some of our partners, such as the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey, the New York City Department of Small Business Services, which is here on this webinar as well, the Joint Certification Committee of Erie County and City of Buffalo, then you would fill out the one-stop addendum application. Also, if you are currently certified with one of our partners with their MWBE program, and the partners that I'm referencing is what I just mentioned before: New York City Department of Small Business Services, the County of Erie, City of Buffalo, Joint Certification Committee, Port Authority, New York, New Jersey, New York and New Jersey Minority Supplier Development Council, the Women's President's Educational Organization. If you currently have certification with them, what you would do is you can fill out our fast track MWBE application with the state. And what that will allow us to do is to be able to request information from any of those entities that you're currently certified with, and they will share some of your information with us that we'll be able to evaluate for your application. But at the same time, we still may follow up with you directly as the applicant to get some additional information, but this will allow these entities that you are currently certified with to share information with us. In terms of the term fast track, it doesn't necessarily mean the speed of your application. It just means that these other entities that you're certified with, they are sharing information with us. And just to let you know, in terms of the turnaround time, to review your application, it's anywhere between 90 to 120 days. Also, if you're currently certified with one of our other partners from the SBA, their 8A Business Development Program, or the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise application, you can fill out those applications with the state that we have within the contract system, so that they can share information with us regarding reviewing your application. So now I'm going to briefly talk about documentation. Okay, so when you go to the New York State Contract System website portal, you'll download the application, and also, they'll ask you for other documentation such as birth certificate, passport, military records, green cards that you'd have to submit, proof of your capital contributions, whether it be canceled check, bank statements, purchase agreements, proof of equipment purchases of business and personal, and copies of your most recent personal and business taxes, your last 3 years, in addition to some other additional documents. And then here on this slide, you have a list of some of our partners that can help you with submitting your application to us for the New York State MWBE certification. As I mentioned, Pace University, which is hosting this webinar, you can reach out to them. You also have other SBDCs that can assist as well. Apex Accelerators, there are about 7 of them in the state of New York. And then also the Entrepreneur Assistance Centers funded by Empire State Development, they can help you with your application as well. And it's highly advisable that you reach out to one of these entities because they know what the state is looking for in terms of submitting a complete application to us. So here is a slide here with our business development team. Okay. Once again, my name is Luan Zimenez. I'm one of the business development analysts. I oversee the Finger Lakes, Southern Tier, and Mid-Hudson region. My colleague Laura Walton, she oversees the Capital Region, North Country, and Mohawk Valley. And my colleague Donnie Serow oversees New York City and also Long Island. And my other colleague, who's kind of very new to the team, Ramsey Perry, he oversees Western New York and Central New York. So if you're on this webinar now and you're currently certified with New York State as an MWBE company and you're looking for assistance in terms of like how to find contracts, how to leverage your certification, definitely reach out to us. If you have questions about the certification process, you can reach out to us as well. So I want to thank everyone here. Hopefully you learned a lot about the New York State MWBE certification process. You have the email address here for my unit, business development. If you have any questions regarding anything regarding the division, you can reach out to our customer care unit. They're in the office Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Through email or through phone. I would encourage you to follow the division on social media platforms, Twitter, and also LinkedIn, where we're sharing a number of different program planning that we have, whether it's webinars, our expos. We actually have our MWBE Forum, which is coming up next month in Albany, New York, November 12th. So I would highly recommend to join if you're able to. And then you have the website here for the division. And I will be here to the end of the webinar to answer any questions in the breakout room regarding the certification. Thank you.
Luan, thank you so much. I do want to include just one piece of information that ESD currently is running and I believe it's called Rapidito. I can't remember the actual enunciation, but it's specifically focused that if you submit your application before the 31st, they're promising to fast track the application much faster than the 90 days he actually talked about, which is part of why, as a network, we're trying to guide those possibilities and make sure that everyone understands that. Oh, there we go. Requesta rapida. So please look out for that. That's stuff that you can see on our statewide program, NYSBDC at everywhere. And you can learn more about that. So Mothership is the SBA ready?
We're going to give it a try. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Opportunities don't just appear. They're captured by those who are ready. Today, more than ever, knowing about the opportunities available to small businesses and preparing to take advantage of them is key to growth and success. Preparation is what turns potential into reality. I am Jacqueline Franco, the Business Opportunity Specialist with the SBA New York District Office, and I am excited to share with you how to prepare and take full advantage of federal certifications and contracting opportunities to elevate your business. Thank you, Andrew, Plam, and your team for your continued support, Jenny, to the Pace University Small Business Development Center. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today and sharing this space with New York Small Business Services and Empire State Development. It's essential for small businesses to have access to the full spectrum of the certifications and procurement. In this webinar, we help them navigate that landscape. So opportunity, so I just want to mention, before we dive into today's presentation, I like to highlight the SBA offer valuable services for those who are starting, developing, or growing their businesses through three main areas. Counseling we do directly, but also through our resource partners such as SBDC. Capital through programs like 7A and 504 in partnership with lenders. And contracting, which will be discussed in today's presentation. Additionally, the SBA also offered a disaster assistance program. So now let's shift our focus on topics of federal government procurement and certification for small businesses. Specifically, we'll be focused on the AA Business Development Program and HUBZone certifications. Our goal for this presentation is to provide you with valuable insights into federal procurement guide, trying to guide you through the process of navigating SBA certifications like HUBZone and AA Business Development Program, and help you understand how to leverage these certifications for business success. So now we set the stage. So let's dive into the first key topic. Federal procurement insights. In this section, we will explore how the federal procurement process works and what you need to know and consider. Please keep in mind this. The federal government is actually the largest buyer of goods and services in the world. Every fiscal year, the administration sets contracting goals, and one of the key objectives is that at least 23% of all federal contracts dollars are awarded to small businesses. In fact, last year, small businesses received an impressive 28.4% of all federal contract dollars, amount to $178 billion. The federal government purchases just about every category of goods and services you can imagine, such as janitorial services, construction of government facilities, professional services like engineering, logistics, also offices, supplies, translation services, many things. So you can do this research to the platform user.spend.gov and find if the government is buying the products or services your business is offering. So we have different platforms like sam.gov, the SBS, and I will share these resources at the end, so maybe you can take advantage of that. One more thing to keep in mind is that all the regulations about government contracting programs for small businesses are outlined in the Title 13, Part 125 of the Code of Federal Regulation. So any question you have related to this can be answered there. The government uses the nice code. I need to point out
One second, Jackie.
Yes.
If I can't see you, so I don't know where we're at in translations and moving the slide. If you can turn on the camera, I'll be able to see you.
You can see me? You don't see me?
We don't see you at all. We see your name. That's it.
I can see her.
You can see her?
She's logged in twice, Pedro.
Oh, I found her.
Because
all right.
of the sound issues. So
Got it. I found you. I'm sorry. That's why I was a little. Estamos bien.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, because that's the situation. But if I put my camera here, maybe it's not good enough. But let me
Estamos
try.
bien. No te preocupes.
Do you want me to put the camera here?
no, go ahead. You're good.
So,
Don't worry about it.
camera is down, so it's not good.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I found you. We're all good. Keep going. Keep being great.
Okay. So the government uses the NICE code to classify industries in which it buys goods and services. It's crucial to register in SAM.gov in Dynamic Small Business Search System. Why? Because SAM is the primary source where federal agencies go to learn about potential vendors. So, to general service, you need, if you are thinking to make business or to participate as a seller in the federal marketplace, must be registered in SAM.gov. So now let's move on to the next session, Navigating SBA Certification. In this part, we'll start by looking at some general information related to the type of federal certifications and government procurement opportunities. So as we discussed previously, each year, a portion of the federal budget is especially set aside to small businesses distributed through various certification programs. 5% targeted for women-owned small businesses, 13% for small disadvantaged businesses, including 8A certified, 10% for HUBZone businesses, and 5% for veteran-owned small businesses. This set aside ensures that the small businesses have access to a fair share of federal contracts, creating real opportunities for growth. So please take a look at the federal government investment in small businesses. Since 2019, there has been a consistent commitment to increase the share of federal contracts awarded to small businesses. This chart shows a clear trend of growth. This means great opportunity for small businesses. So next, the SBA defines what qualifies as small businesses because all of the opportunities are for helping small businesses. So you need to know that it is the SBA who defines what qualifies as small businesses based on the Business NICE code. NICE stands for North America Industry Classification System. This classification helps identify the industry in which company operates and essential for government contracting and determining eligibility for specific programs. So for those who don't know how to identify their NICE code, you can visit NICE.com or census.gov and search by keywords related to your business activities. This is the SBA size standard table. The SBA size standard table specifies the criteria a business must meet to be considered a small business. This criteria is based either on the number of employees or the revenue of the business. If this is based on employee, it looks at the average number of employees over the past 24 months. If it's based on revenue, it's considered the average annual receipts over the last 5 years. The specific size standard vary depending on the industry, which is classified using NICE code. Each industry has its own size threshold to determine whether a business qualifies as a small. So now the question is, how do you apply? You can apply on your own through the platform My SBA Certification Portal. Yes, the good news is that the portal is now accepting application. I realized that yesterday, so this is a great news for you. The platform was being improved to make the application process more user-friendly, faster, and easier to upload all requirements information. If you or your firm have any questions, you can reach out to certifications@sba.gov or call 1-866-443-4110. We have a dedicated customer relations team ready to support all inquiries. A firm can apply for both HUBZone and 8A certification at the same time if you want it. If you just need to realize if you comply all the requirements for both certifications, and you can apply for both. The application basically follow the 3 steps: prepare, gather, and apply. The application requires attention to detail, especially when it comes to time frames and definitions. I recommend that you carefully review all the information available on our website, so you will learn so much what will help you to prepare and be certain that you are ready to apply. Your submission is not considered an application until it is completed. So it won't be assigned to an analyst until you have submitted everything. We need to analyze your application. So you can reach out just in case if you have any question. And also we have the full-time help desk to support along the way in the website. So for those who prefer extra guidance, some of our resource partners, such as Apex Accelerator, can assist you not only with the certification, but also with the contracting process for free. So now let's move on to the exciting opportunity that come with federal certification. One of the most impactful certification program is the 8-day Business Development Program, which offers significant benefits for small disadvantaged businesses. The 8-day Business Development Program certification provides access to business development support and capacity to grow through contracts. It's a 9-year program available only once. The 8-day Business Development Program offers a range of exclusive benefits for small disadvantaged businesses. One of the key benefits is access to contracts that are set aside specifically for businesses in the program, giving you a unique opportunity to grow through federal contracting. You'll also receive dedicated business development assistance, which is invaluable for business for building capacity or navigating the federal marketplace. Additionally, the 8-day provides access to Mentor Protege program, where you can benefit from the guidance of experienced companies or individuals, including those who have graduated from the 8-day program themselves. This mentorship can provide valuable insights and support in the areas where your business needs it most. Another great feature is the opportunity to form joint ventures, allowing you to partner with other companies to increase your capacity and improve your chances of winning contracts. Since the programs last for 9 years, you receive continuous support throughout the time. Furthermore, the program includes access to the Empower to Grow, which provides free high-quality training and assistance to 8-day certified businesses. We currently have the following 2 providers, E2G Ed and E2G program. We have Networry, that is BidSpeed, and Florida State Minority Supplier Development Council. So the program is divided in 2 phases. The first phase, from year 1 to year 4, is called the development stage, and is focused on helping businesses establish themselves and grow. The second phase, for year 5 to year 9, is the transitional stage, where businesses are prepared to compete in the open market. SBA has a partnership agreement with 47 agencies that agree to use the 8-day program. So you can imagine all of the opportunities waiting for you. So let's see the eligibility criteria. In order to apply for the 8-day Business Development Program, you must have active profile in SAM.gov and the SBA.gov. Must be a small business be at least 51% owned and controlled by U.S. citizens who are socially and economically disadvantaged, demonstrate good character, not averted, suspended, parole, or probation, and demonstrate the potential for success, such as having been in business for 2 years or more. To qualify for 8A program under social disadvantage criteria, individuals must belong to one of the two groups. Designated group, this includes individuals who are presumed to be socially disadvantaged based on their membership in certain racial or ethnic groups, such as African American, Hispanic American, Native American, Asian Pacific Americans, and subcontinent Asian American. Not designated group is the other one. Individuals who do not belong to the designated groups can still qualify, but they must provide evidence to demonstrate that they have experienced social
Perfect. Thank you so much.
based on factors like race, ethnicity, or cultural bias, which has limited their ability to compete in the open market. So according to the economic disadvantage, the economic disadvantage means that the individuals must meet a specific financial criteria to qualify. This includes having net worth of $500,000 or less, an average income of the last 3 years of $400,000 or less, and total assets of $6.5 million or less. You can apply for waiver to the 2-year rule just if you can demonstrate that you have business management experience, technical expertise, adequate capital, successful past performance, and the ability to meet requirements. So when this information is good for you to evaluate if you have the profile to apply for the 8A certified business development certification and move on. So let's take a moment to consider areas where unemployment is high and income levels are low. What if your business could play a key role in revitalizing these communities? This is where the HUBZone program comes in. But what is exactly HUBZone? HUBZone stands for Historically Underutilized Business Zone. The program is not based on any socioeconomic characteristics of the owner, but is entirely based on the action of the owner to maintain the firm's principal office in a HUBZone and hire a fair share of their employees from HUBZone communities. So through HUBZone certifications, not only can you expand your business, but you can also contribute to bringing much needed jobs and economic growth to underutilized areas. The HUBZone program offers several powerful benefits that can significantly impact your business and the community you serve. The program stimulates capital investments because it encourages businesses to invest in the historical underutilized areas. This not only helps revitalize these communities, but also provide businesses with unique opportunities to grow. HUBZone certification empowers you to increase your capability by positioning your business to take advantage of new opportunities in the federal marketplace. By being part of the program, you can expand your operations, hire more staff, and invest in new resources. The certification not only helps you build credibility, but also opens doors to contracts that can elevate your business to the next level. One of the greatest benefits of being in HUBZone certified is access to set-aside contracts and sole source opportunities. These contracts are reserved for small businesses like yours, ensuring that federal dollars flow directly to firms operating in HUBZone areas. In addition, you benefit from 10% price evaluation preference when bidding on open competitions. This means that if you and a large business offer the same price on a contract, a 10% adjustment will be added to the large business bid, making your offer more competitive and increasing your chance of winning the contract. The HUBZone program, established in 1997, aims to revitalize economically distressed areas by directing federal contracts to small businesses that are located in also hired from these communities. The federal government is committed to award at least 3% of the prime contractor dollars to HUBZone certified businesses. This mandate translates into incredible opportunities for small businesses. In the fiscal year 23, the government invested $17.5 billion in HUBZone contracts, with around 5,000 small businesses currently certified across the country. These companies have access to exclusive contracts set aside and sole source opportunities. In order to get, so to apply for, so now that you know about the purpose and the benefits of the program, what does it take to be eligible and apply? Well, to participate in the program, you need to prove these 4 things: size, meet SBA standard as a small business. Second, ownership, be at least 51% owned and controlled by a person who are US citizens, or a community development corporation, agricultural cooperative, Native, Hawaiian organization, Alaska Native Corporation, or India tribe. Third, principal office, lease or own a facility where the most employees work in a designated HUBZone. Fourth, employing HUBZone residents. Ensure that at least 35% of the firm's employees reside in a designated HUBZone. Certified businesses must recertify each year. In order to do that, each year they receive a notice 30 days before their certification anniversary with instructions on how to complete the process. Additionally, they must undergo a more detailed review every 3 years. These processes are still done using the old system, but it will be updated soon. We hope so. There are more than 22,000 communities across the country that qualify as a HUBZones. They represent mostly rural and urban communities that have higher than average unemployment or poverty levels. There are 7 types of designations for HUBZone areas: qualified census tract, qualified non-metropolitan county, Indian land, disaster areas such as floods, fires, or hurricanes, qualified phase closure areas, which refers to the process of base realignment and closures by the Department of Defense, redesignating or transitional areas, and since 2020, governors designated rural areas. Altogether, about 25% of census tracts or counties are designated HUBZones. So how do you know if you or your employees are in the designated HUBZones? We have a link to the HUBZone map on your website, sba.gov. From there, you can key in the addresses you are looking for, and you will find the address. See if the address is in the eligible HUBZone. HUBZone maps are updated. HUBZone maps are updated every 5 years to ensure that the program continues to serve the communities most in need. This 5-year cycle allows small businesses to plan and invest in the HUBZone communities without fears of sudden changes. For expired HUBZone, there is an additional 3 years transition period to help businesses adjust to the change. So if you come across an area that is designated, that means that particular area no longer qualifies as a HUBZone, but must grant it an additional 3 years in the program to allow firms to transition. If you are interested in applying to get HUBZone certification, remember the 3 steps: prepare, gather, and apply. First, make sure to read all the FAQs in SBA.gov to help you get ready. Take time to gather all your required documents before you start. We have a supporting document checklist and eligibility workbook, a spreadsheet, both in our website, and we strongly suggest you use both to help you make sure you have everything you need before you apply. When you are ready, go to my SBA certifications portal, follow the instructions, and apply. Reach out to our full-time help desk support along the way if you need it. We have a variety of materials already on our website available to make it easy to your firm and we have also resource partners to navigate or in the application process. You can visit sba.gov, HUBZone, connect with HUBZone through email. The email is hubzone@sba.gov, and you can participate Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. to assist them in a call at 1208-391-5817, ID 278-449-067 number. I will send you this information for you to use it, but it's important to help you to apply. And remember that you can use the services of Apex Accelerator in order to apply with the assistance of them. So just to finish, I would like to encourage you to ask yourself if the government is buying what you are selling. You need to ask yourself if you have federal contracting experience, inventory, working capital, if you are capable, if you can find contracting opportunities, if you know about the contracting processes, because you have a lot of opportunities, but you need to be ready. And remember, you can start, you have here the opportunities or and as a MWBE, for instance, so it's good for you to know that you can start like a little steps and then move on to the federal procurement. I don't know, Pedro, I have more information a little bit, but I don't know if we have enough time to share that information.
We are kind of running, well, our time is running very well. You do have a few more minutes. If you can get through the slides in the next few minutes, it's not a problem.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I like to mention that in order to win Contract 1 certified, you need to understand the process, the procurement process, meeting requirements and compliances. You need to research your market yourself. You need actively seeking contract opportunities to platforms like Sam.go, BidSpeed, BidLinks, creating competitive proposals, build relationship with contract officer. And you need to be aware if you have the capacity to scale. I have here the images, the last images, for instance, that one. How you market yourself. You need, first of all, you need to know what agencies buy your products and services. You need to find your niche. There are a lot of competition, so you can concentrate in a specific niche. It's easier for you. And I think it's more effective, especially in the beginning. So then you need to understand areas of government spending in the products that you are selling. And you can go directly to the website from each agency to understand better, to do forecast from their own websites. And you need to know where is the competition. If you go to some.gov, you can find the competitors there as well. You can move to the other slide. And then if you are registered, you need to market yourself. It's not the registration per se that will give you to get contracts. No, you need to market yourself. Be familiar with the agencies you are targeting. I guess this next weeks, we will have opportunity to participate in different trade shows and procurement events. So go there. You need to be present. Be prepared to deliver concise elevator pitch. If you don't have to create your elevator pitch, as the SBDC, we all can help you with that. But this is important for you to, in order to take advantage of all opportunities that you have when you visit the agencies or when you go to any procurement show. Present a business card with your certifications and a capability statement, including your NICE codes. So the capability statement is a great tool, and I know SBDC helps a lot with that specific tool because it's important for you to take advantage when you go to any program, so you can present your capability statement, and then shortly you can demonstrate what is your business about, what are your differentiation, and that is good for you. So next. Okay, and just the last information that I'd like to share with you is take in mind that the government fiscal year starting October is October to September. So we are in the first quarter. This first quarter that should be used to raise awareness and building relationship. In the second quarter, you can lead, create lead generations, make campaigns, marketing, and send proposals. And the last quarter is the last minute offer and awareness campaign. So this is the way as the government works. So understand that, and believe me, you will get and take advantage of that opportunity. It always seems impossible until it's done, is what says Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. The federal procurement process and certifications like 8A, HUBZone, might seem complicated at first, but once you take the first step, you'll see doors open that you never thought possible. It's a great pleasure to be here as a business opportunity specialist. For me, is I always am happy to help small businesses to grow, to understand about this specific opportunity with federal marketplace. So reach out. You will have all the information, the contact information, not just my contact information, but for HUBZone, for you, if you have questions for 8A Business Development Center, we have dedicated people for that. You will reach all of them. If you have questions about HUBZone, you already know that we have the HUBZone at sba.gov. And if you are processing women-owned small business certification as well, or veteran small business certification, all of them, we have an all team to help you. So just take advantage of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I also want to mention, and I forgot to mention this as well about Lujan. Jacqueline used to be an advisor here at the SBDC, so she's very familiar with our process and understands what is important about understanding these different resources and how to connect them. So I would definitely take advantage of that access to being able to work with Jacqueline. So now, without further ado, David Carreras from SBS.
Hey.
Whenever you're ready, David.
All right. Let's do this here. Well, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you all for first off, thank you, PACE SBDC for allowing us to have a platform to be able to talk about selling to government resources, certification, but also business resources to help you start, operate, and grow. If there's any takeaway that you have with going through these different workshops, is that there's a lot of tax dollars being used, right? And this is the power of being in New York City or even New York State, that you have your local government, you have state government, and you have the federal government all at the same time with different certification programs, but also different pathways to generate revenue for them and for your business. So definitely take a look at that when we go through that, right? So first things first, right, we're going to spotlight and talk about some general business services to help you strengthen the operations of your business when it comes to doing business in the city of New York, right? But then also we're going to spotlight and talk a little bit about the MWBE certification process. We're going to start talking about ramping up in terms of like how to apply and how do you start proceeding with this, and then some resources to help you navigate and do business with the city of New York. One of the things that you'll know about the New York City Department of Small Business Services, it helps unlock economic potential and economic security for all New Yorkers. And we do that 3 different ways, right? By connecting New Yorkers to good jobs, building stronger businesses, and building thriving neighborhoods throughout the 5 boroughs. One of the things when we talk about economic empowerment are these networks of business solution centers that we operate throughout the 5 boroughs. And these are great resources if you're located in the city, whether you're looking to start, operate, and grow your business, right? Great, fantastic resource. And when we connect it to certification, right, you have another resource here to help you go through the certification process when it comes to doing business with the city of New York, right? So for people who are even looking to start their business, we have legal assistance where we have pro bono attorneys who can walk you through the process of understanding what might be the best legal structure for you and for your business. A lot of education and training to help you even go through things like search engine optimization and marketing strategies for your business, or even understanding the different laws of employment regulations that are out there, right? So a lot of different things that are showing on up, but we'll spotlight some of the different things when it comes to strengthening the operations of your business and performing on government contracts, right? So one of the typical things that you'll see, right, SBA is a fantastic partner when it comes to access to capital conversations. In the network of business solution centers, right, we work with over 40 different types of lenders, or we have access to over 40 different types of lenders that are out there, including traditional lending institutions, CDFIs, community development financial institutions, as well as micro lenders. Each business solution center has a subject matter expert, a finance account manager who can walk you through the different options, who could do a consultation, can help you complete your application, and help you, provide that guidance and support in terms of walking through that application that's out there. When we talk about also in New York City, right, especially when we talk about, once again, strengthening the operations of our business, we also want to highlight our NYC Business Express service team. Fantastic resource when it comes to starting, opening your storefront business, or even making sure that you're compliant with this. Here we have a network of we work very closely with 11 different agencies and regulatory authorities to help cut through the to help you cut through the red tape, to help continue to open up your business a whole lot quicker, right? So say, for example, you're a food service contractor, right, that's looking to do business with government, right? And you're located in the 5 boroughs, and you need the appropriate licenses and permits from like Department of Health and Sanitation and buildings to be able to open up your storefront. We have small business advocates who can walk you through that entire process. On the other side as well, how do we make sure that we're compliant with that? We also have a network of compliance advisors who are former inspectors themselves. We provide a lot of education and training. We are not a regulatory agency, but with this intervention, right, we've been able to help support and save our New York City small businesses over $35 million in potential fines and penalties because of the education, training, and awareness to help business owners be able to cure and protect their business that's out there. In that same breath, when we talk about legal assistance and legal support services, especially on the storefront side, we also have our commercial lease assistance program. Commercial lease assistance program is a fantastic resource, especially when you're looking to open up and get and identify a new space, right? Be able to have that conversation with a pro bono attorney who can help you walk you through signing your commercial lease. When it's time for you to renew your lease, right? Being able to take a look and have that guidance and support, right? Because once again, we talk about strengthening and protecting our business and our business operations. Great resource that's out there. And then also legal guidance, right? Especially when we want to make sure that relationships are always great with our landlords and our commercial landlords, but things don't go as usual, right? This is a great resource to be able to go through that entire process. And before we get into the MWBE program, right, we talk about a lot of support services for our business owners. SBS, we are the city's workforce arm, and we operate the over 17 business workforce centers workforce one centers throughout the 5 boroughs. We use that resource, right, when we talk about strengthening our business and expanding our business, to be able to leverage the network of job-ready New Yorkers, where we can help you go through the postings of your jobs, right? Help you identify and recruit talent for you and for your business. Fantastic resource, especially when we start looking to scale up our business and when we start looking to perform on government contracts. Great resource, especially when we're looking to help open or help fill any vacancies that we might have out there. Now to the spotlight of the program, right? The city's MWBE program, right? So you hear our state counterparts, especially when we talk about the state's MWBE program, when we talk about doing business in New York City, right? When we talk about the climate of the MWBE program, the Adams administration has been very laser focused on increasing contracting opportunities for New York City certified MWBE firms. And he's done this through a couple of different ways, right? He's committed to want to award over $25 billion to MWBEs by fiscal year 26, $60 billion by fiscal year 2030, working very closely with our state partners to help advance, the legislation of increasing discretionary spending to empower agencies to directly contract with agencies out there as well. Very fantastic program. When we talk about current certified firms, we have over 11,000 actively certified MWBE firms that range from the industry areas of construction, professional services, goods, and standard services. We'll talk about eligibility criteria a little bit later on, but a couple different things to really spotlight and take a look, when we come to the MWBE program. One of the great outputs of becoming city MWBE certified, and this is what I would say, in general, right? When we talk about city contracting, state contracting, or even federal contracting, right? Always take a look and see what public database they have of certified firms, right? When we talk about the city's MWBE certification program, all certified firms are actively certified firms are placed on the MWBE online directory of certified businesses. If you go to nyc.gov/buy certified, this is a place where you get to see all actively certified MWBE firms. This is the first place that agency buyers and prime contractors go to when they're looking to find actively certified MWBEs. So very important tool. If you are certified, homework for you. Take a look at your profile, right? If you're not certified yet and you're starting to ramp up and start submitting and gathering all your documents, invest in time when we start building up our business description. This is our first impression, right? All of these certification programs, city, state, federal, the lens and the perspective you always want to have is government being the consumer, right? Connect those dots, right? Because you always want to ask the first question, does government buy the products and services that we sell? And if so, how are we consuming those products and services? That helps shape how you're positioning your business. What are the core competencies that we're going to lean in on when it comes to doing business with government? When we talk about eligibility criteria, there's a couple different things, right? So to be eligible for the program, a business and its owners must meet the following criteria. First things first, it must be a for-profit business, right? And you'll see this be a typical consideration, whether it's city, state, or federal government. With all these certification programs, not-for-profit organizations, unfortunately, they don't qualify for becoming city MWBE certified. That doesn't mean that they're not integral. They're extremely important, especially when they're providing direct human services to city New Yorkers and all those different types of things. But for the purposes of this program, the business must be a for-profit business. Secondly, the business must have a presence in the New York City market. The presence may be created by location in New York City or the surrounding 8 counties. It may also be created by doing or attempting to do business in or with the city of New York. And we'll talk a little bit about this when we start talking about the payee information portal. Third, the business must be majority owned, operated, and controlled by an eligible individual or individuals. Citizenship, ethnicity, and gender are all factors in determining an owner's eligibility. New York City's MWBE program covers individuals of Black, Hispanic, Asian Pacific, Asian Indian, Native American ethnicity, and women of all ethnicities. Both U.S. citizens and green card holders are eligible. And finally, the business must have sold products or services for at least 1 year. Now, when we start talking about navigating through different systems. When we're talking about doing business with the city of New York, right? There's 3 different systems that you're managing, right? And the important thing is to take a look and think about the purpose of those different systems, right? When we summarize PIP, that is the system as to how we get paid by the city of New York. Independent of certifications, independent of pursuing different types of certifications. If you're looking to contract directly with City of New York, you have to be registered on the pay information portal. That is the system that as to how you get paid by the City of New York. Passport is how you get to identify and respond to opportunities with the City of New York. That system is administered by our partners over at the Mayor's Office of Contract Services. Very powerful system, because here not only are we identifying and responding to opportunities, but this is where we're also completing out some of our vendor responsibility forms. The third system that we'll talk about as well is SBS Connect, and that is how we get to manage our certification with the City of New York. Registering in the Pay Information Portal, or PIP, is the key to receiving a New York City vendor ID number. Your vendor number will be a unique identifier for your firm and all its procurement-related activities with the city, from applying for certification to getting paid. You know, the vendor number you're assigned must be shared with SBS as part of your MWBE certification application. And we will say that PIP is an older site, but includes a ton of useful guides to help you register successfully. They also have a hotline that operates during business hours. That can be a great time to tackle this particular piece. And some best practices here, right? Be sure to key in your responses carefully, safely manage your PIP password, and complete all the required steps to end up with one PIP account and one valid vendor number. Then make note of that vendor number before moving on to Passport. As we said before, Passport is a newer system that is administered over by our partners over at the Mayor's Office of Contract Services, and very powerful components and very powerful functions right now that are critical to MWBEs. Those $1.5 million MWBE small purchase method opportunities that are earmarked specifically for MWBE firms. Only MWBEs with Passport accounts can receive those types of discretionary spending opportunities. And then secondly, Passport includes a ton of documentation and paperwork agencies will need to determine if you're a responsible bidder. After all, right, these are tax dollars being awarded, and agencies have to do their due diligence and make sure that their vendor responsibility checks are being done for the awarding of tax dollars to buy those products and services that are out there as well. Now, we will say it, right? When we talk about the 3 different systems, you're setting up 3 separate logins, right? You're setting up a login for PIP, you're setting up a login for Passport, you're setting up a login for SBS Connect. Now here, when we talk about documentation, right, similar to how you've heard our partners earlier on in terms of the documents that need to be aggregated, right? At the end of the day, this is a test of ownership, operation, and control, right? SBS will review these documents to try and verify what you tell us about your firm in the online application. And some best practices when we start talking about these different documents, it goes from like resumes, bank signature cards, tax returns, citizenship documentation, to lease agreements, contracts, proof of minority group status, start origination formation, right? We'll provide some guidance in terms of what the documents should be, like what they're trying to do out here, right? But the goal is, right, is that it allows SBS to verify the information about what you place in the online application. The goal is that every eligible firm that can enter the program can enter as efficiently as possible, and also to create a basis for distinguishing firms that meet the criteria from those who don't. So very important, very critical things that are out there, right? When we talk about resumes, right, please ensure that your resume is up to date, including describing the role in your firm that you want to get certified, as well as past experience, training, and education. Because think about it, right? We do anything and everything for our business. We have to verbalize that. We have to write that down. We have to codify what are we doing for our business? Because once again, and you'll hear this a lot, ownership, operation, and control of your business. When we talk about bank signature card, we mean a records that's showing the authorized signers for the bank accounts that we're using for our business. This might be a letter we need to request rather than a card from the banking institution. For tax returns, because once again, it's awarding of tax dollars, right? We ask for the most recent year that's been completed, but we also want to know that your taxes are up to date. After all, this program is to support you in doing business with the government, and tax compliance is a way of showing that your firm is financially responsible. If you haven't filed the most recent set of taxes that were due, submit proof that you've been granted an extension. proof of citizenship, right? You could provide a copy of your birth certificate, passport, naturalization documents. For permanent residents, they may provide a copy of the green card for each minority and or women owner that's listed. For licenses and permits, right? Licenses and permits for you to practice your trade or profession must be up to date and in good standing. We ask that you submit a copy of that. If your business does not require a license, that this request does not apply. I'm not going to go through each of the bullet points that are out there because I know you've already heard a lot of the information when we talk about the documentation that's out there. But we will say this, for proof of minority group status, right? We're looking for some government documentation that describes or reveals your ethnicity. This might be a birth certificate, a military record, or a passport. And if you can't produce such documentation for yourself, consider submitting documents describing the ethnicity of a parent or a grandparent. And an affidavit attesting to your ethnicity can be an option for individuals who cannot produce documentation despite their best efforts, right? And then if you take a look at the bottom part of this this checklist as well, depending on the type of legal structure that your business is, we're going to ask for those supporting documents for your business formation documentation that's out there. Now here, when we talk about, the platform, right? So we talked about PIP, that is how we get paid. Passport, how we get to identify and respond to opportunities, and SBS Connect, how we manage our certification. There's going to be 3 different times that you're navigating through SBS Connect for certification purposes, right? First time is when you're submitting your application in for the first time ever. Second time, on a year-to-year basis, when you're making your annual affirmations or making updates to your certification to maintain your certification. And when it's time to renew your certification, right? This is going to be a platform in terms of how to be able to navigate through that. There's different ways of being able to go into the city's MWBE certification program, right? We have our standard application. We have our certifying partners, including our partners over at Empire State Development and School Construction Authority, as well as Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, right? As well as some of our corporate supplier diversity programs. And then we also have a DBE fast track program that's out there. We do have a robust slate of certification webinars that will go very granularly and walk you through that entire process. But once again, we also have a lot of support services to help you complete your application. Take advantage of our network of business solution centers, and then also through city tax funds, right? We also have a network of MWBE Leadership Association members. Biggest thing to say is take advantage of your tax-funded resources. Do not pay somebody to help you complete your application. Use the resources that you're hearing all in this call together to help you go through these different certification processes that are out there. And it's not just about certification, right? The power of any certification program is how do we monetize that certification, whether city, state, or federal government. SBS, we are the certifying arm of the city's MWB program, and we have a lot of resources for business owners when it comes to monetizing your certification, right? You hear Apex Accelerator a lot, right? When we talk about technical assistance, right? SBS has a Apex Accelerator where we have a robust slate of selling to government workshops, technical assistance webinars. You can set up individualized technical assistance to help you identify and respond to opportunities. They can help you review solicitation documents. They can give you feedback in terms of how to position your response. It can give you feedback on your response itself, right? The one thing that they won't do the bid writing. So fantastic resource that's out there. I say take advantage of this, especially when you're looking to build up a game plan and do market research when it comes to identifying and navigating through government contracting. Very, very great resource, right? Because the great thing about government is that there's a lot of data that's out there. How do we take advantage of that data and how do we run with it? Alongside education and training, right, and capacity building services, SBS also has a lot of different types of programs and resources to help you grow and expand your business. And that's a couple different things, right? When we talk about government contracting for our construction companies, we have a bond readiness program where essentially walks you through the surety bonding process with the ultimate goal of getting you access to bonding capacity or increasing your bonding capacity. We have programs that are tailored and collaborate in collaboration with different agencies as well, right? So we work very closely with the Department of Design and Construction and DOT to administer a program called the Construction Ramp Up Program. So you see a lot of ADA compliance in the sidewalk ramps that are out there. In the next 30 years, all those sidewalk ramps have to be ADA compliant, right? So being able to build construction companies and concrete vendors capacities to be able to take advantage of that, That's a great way to help build up your capacity with government being the consumer. We also have MWBE contract legal services clinics, as well as QuickBooks for contractors clinics, where essentially it's a day-wide program to essentially help you build up your chart of accounts to help you generate some financial reporting, right? And that's a great resource when we talk about capital access resource to our network of business solution centers, but also resources to perform on city projects or city funded entities that are out there. Here, we want to highlight the Contract Financing Loan Fund. It's administered by 2 different community development financial institutions. It's max capped at 30% or $1 million. You could use that as a prime or a subcontractor, and the repayment schedule is tied to when you get paid by the city of New York. So fantastic tool if you're looking to take advantage of trade discounts, if you're looking to mobilize, or if you're even looking to manage those ebbs and flows of working capital. Last but not least, mentorship, right? So we have a network of over 20 different certified MWBE firms that cover all of the different industry areas that are out there: construction, professional services, goods, and standard services, right? Because it's one thing to hear government officials and educators and trainers to say, hey, go here, go there, build up your game plan. It's the other thing to hear it from a business owner's perspective, right? Where they've been able to provide that perspective of best practices of what's worked for them, right? They cover all of the industry areas. They provide a lot of guidance, nuance, and support. They do a lot of trainings, to provide best practices that are out there. And these are business owners who have been able to generate revenue with government, but also have been sustainably able to do business with the city of New York. Finally, one of the things that my team is very responsible for is setting up and executing the citywide MWBE procurement fair. So November is going to be very, very busy when we start talking about events to be able to engage with the public, right? So similar to how you've heard our partners with the city, with the state and the federal government, right? It's very important for you to engage and maximize your visibility with agencies, with government buyers, right? This is how you maximize your visibility. Very, very important thing to make sure you're doing those things. We have about 90 exhibitors that are ranging from majority city agencies, some of our certifying partners, both the SBA and Empire State Development will be at that event as well. We'll provide so many different support services that are out there with the goal and the intent to foster those business relationships and start those conversations. If you've already done business with city agencies, fantastic. Reset those touch points. If you're looking to do business with agencies, this is where you can take advantage of your capability statements, your value added proposition, right? This is a sales conversation, right? This is a business development conversation and business development event. Take advantage of all these different events that are out there for you and for your business, and make time, right? Because there's a lot that's being expected for you and your business, right? You're expecting to understand a market, right? And you already heard about 3 different markets, right? 3 different sets of procurement rules: city, state, federal. Understand who the buyers are, right? And now it's a matter of being able for you to connect those dots, right? And government contracting isn't a short-term solution, right? It takes time, right? Build up your book of business, reset those touch points, and stay engaged and stay visible. That's out there. Now, a couple different points of contact before I pass the floor on back, right? Anything SBS related, definitely take advantage of our hotline, 888-SBS4-NYC. With respect to specifically the certification program, if you have any questions about eligibility or status on your application, definitely reach out to the MWBE at sbs.nyc.gov or their hotline 212-513-6311. And then finally, here's my contact information as well. So in case you have any questions, concerns, use me as a resource. We'll connect you to the right resource.
Thank you all for attending. I think the breakout rooms will also be very, very impactful and helpful for you all if you have follow-up questions. There was about 90 minutes worth of material, so a lot to cover. And hopefully this gives you a sense from the federal, state, and city levels, the variety of certifications that are in place that are able to kind of help you as a business owner better position yourself for contract opportunities and other things that may be beneficial to you as you build and grow your business. In and of itself, the certification is not going to oftentimes going to be the standalone thing that's going to help you, but it's going to be a tool that's going to help you build and grow and kind of look at ways to be able to better diversify and better expand kind of what your business is up to. So hopefully this gives you some food for thought for some programs that you might want to take advantage of. And I want to also just reinforce the fact that the PACE Small Business Development Center, using my colleague Pedro Soto as your point person, We're here to help you. And if you're dialing in from other parts of the city and state, is that we have representatives from elsewhere as well that can be able to be in a position to help you, build and grow your small business. So all of our services are offered at no cost. We work very closely with these agencies to help you make sure that you can access what you need and take advantage of it. This is really kind of a great opportunity for you to really get better connected with and hopefully secure these certifications to help your small business. So Jenny, Pedro, Roxana, thanks so much. And to our speakers, Jackie, Luan, and David, thank you really for the insights and all the help, and look forward to the breakout rooms.